Hello there guys, and welcome to another edition of Star Wars Comics, where today we join Maul on his path to vengeance. You might remember the Clone Wars episode of where Sidious confronts Maul and Savage Opress. While Savage was quickly killed, Maul did not suffer the same fate. In fact, the plan for him was much more gruesome. After this episode, Maul was taken to an exclusively secret prison known only to a few as Styjon. Inside, Maul was being investigated by none other than his former master, Darth Sidious. Maul would proceed to advise Sidious to actually kill him. It would be the wisest thing to do. Laughingly, Sidious informs Maul to not mistake the fact that he is still alive as compassion, meaning he still had use of him. Until his use is at an end, Sidious will make sure he does not die. At that time, Tyrannus enters. Sidious is pleased. He tells Dooku to walk with him. They have much to discuss. Needless to say, Maul was enraged, watching the person that actually replaced him as Sidious's apprentice, Dooku. Sidious and Dooku proceeded with their walk, making plans on how to root out and destroy all of their enemies. This time, it was not the Jedi, it was Mother Talzin. She was not yet dead. The fact that Maul lives is proof enough. With now knowing who the enemy is, Dooku proceeds to ask his master what the plan actually is. Sidious proposed to use Maul in order to lead them to Talzin. It was a skeevious plan that might actually work, and in fact, unbeknownst to them, the plan was already in place. Suddenly, two Death Watch troopers jump down and destroy the commando droids that are patrolling the area. Behind this scheme is Minister Almec. He goes on to tell the Death Watch to proceed with their plan of the extraction of Maul and rendezvous with the remaining forces on Zanbar. Now, it was Dooku's time to interrogate Maul. In fact, Maul had heard a lot about the Jedi betrayer, Count Dooku. He expected more. Growing tired, Dooku wanted the resources that Maul had under his disposal, the names of the underworld leaders and locations. Maul would never succumb to Dooku's wishes. Without a warning, Dooku unleashes a barrage of lightning, torturing Maul as he screamed in agony. This was just a reminder. Next time, he hopes that their conversation will be more fruitful. The Death Watch troops were primed and ready. Dooku and the rest suspected that something fishy was going on, and the Count proceeded to send a group of destroyers to level 7, knowing full well what the target may be. They were no match for the Death Watch. All the droids proceeded to be demolished by only 2 Death Watch troops, some disabled and some blown up to pieces. Finally, in the end, they released Darth Maul. With a little bit of more fighting left, they helped Maul escape that confinement, and ultimately, with a rocket launcher, they created a gap within the wall, and their plan actually succeeded. They were out of that hellhole, zipping through the line and to the other side, to their starfighter. Before leaving, they left their finishing touches, bombarded the rest of the droids. Considering their mission a success, all of them proceeded to leave the prison. We cut to Grievous's fleet. He was aboard the Invisible Hand. At that time, Dooku was communicating with him, telling him that Maul's ship has been tracked to the planet Zanbar. All he needs to do now to proceed with the plan is to hurt Maul, weaken his forces, injure his pride. When Grievous asked, "What will we do then?" Dooku responded, "Then he will do what any child would. He will run and cry for help." With Maul's return, the secret Shadow Collective base was primed and ready on Zanbar. He of course talked and thanked Minister Almec for premature release from prison. Not only that, but Almec had recovered the Dark Saber, found on the palace after his capture on Mandalore. Maul was now geared for war. Not only him, but the entire Shadow Collective. They were ready for anything. With that in mind, the Separatists were here. They were dropping ships. They were under attack. Maul overconfidently says to unleash the might of the Shadow Collective, with the battle now fully ensued. Grievous, however, warned the droids, "We are not fighting clones this time. These are Mandalorian warriors." Amongst them, Maul, a former Dark Lord of the Sith. He proceeded to crush the droids. He had been waiting for this moment a long time. However, Grievous wasn't about to let him have all the fun. First off, he sent his personal guards at him. Maul simply toyed with them, slicing 2 at a time, crushing the rest with no hesitation. Now it was Grievous's turn. He first started by stabbing one of the soldiers. Knowing to hit Maul where it hurts him the most, angrily Maul jumps at Grievous. In his mind, he is more than a match for this puny droid. Their battle ensued. Grievous assured Maul that his battle was being lost. If he looked around, all the Mandalorians are now crushed simply because Grievous's army is unending. The numbers are too high. Indeed, it was so. The Shadow Collective was done. Infuriated and filled with anger, Maul let out a scream. The fight was not finished yet. Maul still had faith in his army. Alas, he had to face reality. The ship dropped down, Maul jumped in and accepted that it was done. He ordered one of the soldiers, Cast, to take him away from here. Disappointed of the outcome, he could no longer stomach the sight of this battle. With a victory at hand, Grievous proceeds to call Dooku, tells him that the losses were quite extensive. It was not such an easy fight, but according to Dooku, it was acceptable. This is all part of the plan. This way, Sidious feels that these attacks will draw Talzin out into the open. With due time, everything will be corrected, and everything will be clear to Grievous as well. With this, we end part 1 of this issue, and I do hope you enjoyed this one. I'm sure you all are familiar with Darth Maul, Son of Dathomir comics. This was actually issue number 1, and it was in my backlog for quite some time. I wanted to make this video, and I just wanted to wait for the right opportunity, and I felt this was the time. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts and everything you feel down below in the comments. We will actually see that Maul is not that dumb as they perceive him to be, and for that I have to say stay tuned, my friends, because more Son of Dathomir comics will be explored in the near future here in the channel. If you want me to continue this in tomorrow's video, then please feel free to let me know down in the comments. I would love to adhere to your wishes. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and supporting the channel. If you like this video, leave a like, and lastly, may the Force be with you always.